Hello, everybody, and welcome to my impromptu hobby live stream. I wanted to work on some more orcs, so I figured, you know what, screw it, we're going to work on some more orcs. I have pretty much everything that I had yesterday, which is great because we were working on these two boys. However, before we continue working on... Oh, hold on, let me get them in focus. There we go. Before we continue actually working on these guys, I want to take care of two things that I did not get to yesterday that are kind of important. And that's on these two guys that I had worked on, like, previously almost. We're gonna just, we're not gonna talk about how long ago. But it's been a while. And there's a couple things I want to do on them, on their jackets. So I want to take care of that right now. First thing... Bam! We're gonna do it. Also, hello everybody in chat. Welcome to the stream. Mr. J, Alchemical Rabbit, Truck, Stacking Limit, Havman, and Toy Painter. Hello, hello, hello. We are both doing well. Thank you for asking. Stacking Limit, what news are you questioning specifically? Also, I'm just slightly tweaking my camera. There we go. There we go. Alright, the Aethermatic Blue is now mixed thoroughly. Oh, he is doing a lot better. Yes. No, he is doing a lot better. We're still, we're still dealing with a few things, but we've got... It's a lot more under control, which is great. It's been a bit stressful, I will admit. Okay, let's do this. So I want to deepen the color a little bit on his jacket. It's a little bit too transparent. So I just want to do one more coating of Aethermatic Blue.
I'm on hydrocodone, whatever. I'm on pain drugs.
Exactly. So he's doing well, right? Yeah. He's on some serious pain drugs. But it's fine. It's fine. They're helping. And things are getting better, which is great. Yes. Yeah, no. I am glad that he is also on the mend. It's been very stressful. Mostly for him, honestly. It's been mostly sort of a stressful thing for him. But it's been stressful for both of us, and so it's nice to have things getting back to normal and all that. Yeah, this is doing exactly kind of what I hoped it would. There were just a few spots where it looked super pale and like a little bit too transparent, and I wasn't digging it. Like, for example, right here. There. That's much better. Yay! Heck yeah. Yeah, I felt like I was, I didn't do a news this week. We're not actually, so just as a forewarning, I'll make like a little bit more of an official announcement later, but we are also not going to have a news next week. Mostly because I am taking a spa day on Monday and just like for my own mental health. And I think that's very important. And so I'm going to postpone having any news come out on Tuesday. I'm also still trying to figure out exactly how I want to handle it going forward. And I just wanted a little bit of a break, especially after the kind of rough week it was this week, with Chaos Cultist having some just stuff going on. So that is the plan. However, on that Tuesday, we're going to have a sort of longer live stream that day. It's going to be, I want to play some scary games because it's Halloween. So I figured let's have like a little bit of a longer live stream. We'll play some scary games, or at least one scary game. If we get bored with that, maybe we'll jump over to doing some more painting, etc. But like, I just figured it'd be cool to do something on Halloween for like a little bit more of a long format stream. And I think that would make up for me not having a news video out. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. So, huzzah. Very carefully getting the sides. I think that's one of the other things that I didn't do last time on this guy that makes him look a little weird is I didn't paint the edges of the jacket because I was afraid of the colors mixing too much. And I just need to be kind of delicate about it, but it does need to happen because that's where a lot of the paleness I think is coming from. It's just that I just didn't paint everything. Fool. But yeah, this is looking a lot better. Much happier with how this is turning out. No, it is literally a spa day. You know, when you go to a spa and have somebody massage you and then go into a hot tub and a sauna and a steam room. Wait, a sauna is a steam room. What is the wet sauna? A wet sauna and a dry sauna. Those are the difference, I guess. And have access to all sorts of glorious things. I actually try to do one once a month. For my birthday this past year, Chaos Cultist bought me a pass, like a subscription basically to a spa near us, and I've been trying to go like once a month and take advantage of that and like get a massage, and it's been great. And I haven't done one yet this month, and so I'm going to do one on Monday. And I can't wait because I really like doing it. There's this sandwich place that I always go to whenever I go and have one of these days out. There's like a really nice sandwich place that I like that's by the spa. So I go there, I get some food, I like enjoy the space, take advantage of all of the amenities, and then get a massage and then come home. All right, there we go. And if you guys don't pamper yourself sometimes like that, I would highly encourage you to do so because it's totally worth it and it's a really nice, just like, mental break, honestly. And also, then you get some, like, nice physical relaxation, maybe work some kinks out. It's really nice because, like, for me, like, I store a lot of tension in my back, mostly because I'm, like, sitting here, like, hunched over, painting miniatures and stuff. I try to sit up straight, but, like, I still get a lot of, like, back stiffness. So the massage does really help like work a lot of that out. Okay, we got a little bit of glue needed down here. And then we need to get this little panel here. Good afternoon, Valhalla Ice. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about taking spa days and how lovely they are, because I have one coming up and I'm looking forward to it. But the main reason we brought it up was because it means that I'm not going to be filming a news this coming week. But we're also going to have a extra long stream on Tuesday that is going to be very Halloween appropriate and playing a scary game. I haven't decided what scary game we're going to be playing. Like, part of me, and I will admit, like, this is a huge temptation. I've played Vampire the Masquerade once before, but not on this channel. And I kind of want to play Vampire the Masquerade again. Now, obviously, we would not be finishing Vampire the Masquerade if we started it tomorrow, but it would be one that I would not mind turning into, like, sort of a long stream or a long-term playthrough, because I love that game. It's, like, I've watched people play it several times. I've played through it myself once, but I would not be able to, like, tell you all of the things that I would need to do again to beat the game, so it would definitely be a fresh sort of experience, even if I played the exact same vampire clan that I did previously, which was Malkavian, because they're the best. I don't care what anybody says. I like my Insano boys. and girls. I just think that they get a lot of really exceptional, fun dialogue options, and I love having angry conversations with the, both your TV and the stop sign. Who can pass up having intimate conversations with your inanimate objects in your city and house? But I think it'd be cool. But I also, like, there's a bunch of games, honestly, that we could play. Because there's a lot of good, a lot of fun horror games out there. You enjoy it just a normal amount, Dim, not an exceptional amount. Have I shown you guys the have I shown you guys the old metal Vampire the Masquerade minis that I pick up? Hold on, let me see if they're easily accessible. I think they are. I think I see them underneath the Battletech minis. I feel like I may have shown these before, but I'm not 100% sure. So I got these when I went to Pot of Gold one time, which is like one of the toy stores that I featured on my channel a few times. But we've got some beautiful Ventrue, a male and female Ventrue character for Vampire. These are from, I don't actually know if it's dated on the back here. I'm looking for a date. Ages 5 and up, contains radium. This is lead-free pewter, so this is not, thankfully, toxic to us, which is why I guess children can play with it. I'm not seeing a date specifically, so I don't know when this actually came out. I feel like at one point I looked it up and I don't remember anymore. But yeah, so we got Ventrue, and then I also picked up some Sabat, which just look badass. Look at them. I love her outfit. I love her hair. I love everything about her. Also, this guy looks amazing. But yeah, so we got some Sabat vampires as well as my Ventrue. Unfortunately, they didn't have any Malkavians, or I would have gotten some Malkavians. The only other one that I remember them having specifically is I think they had... At the time, I think they may have had like 1 or 2 Nosferatu, and then like a whole... Like they had a bunch of the Sabat. Yeah, like they had just like a ton of the Sabat. I don't know who like gave them or sold them to Pot of Gold for them to resell or whatever, but like it wasn't a lot. It was an intense amount of the same Vampire the Masquerade miniature. I'm not sure I believe you, Dim. A normal amount, huh? Okay. Well, so, for your normal amount of enjoying it, what is your favorite clan to play as? Or do you have more than one? Like, are you like, oh my god, I love both this and this? And also, are you specifically a fan of Vampire the Masquerade? Or are you also just like, no, White Wolf all the way? I like, Werewolf and, oh, what's the one? What is it Age of Darkness? No, what is the one with the fairies? Like, or the fae? I don't remember what that one's called now off the top of my head. I'm sure you guys will be able to tell me. Because isn't, like, I think they're, like, super, like, OP in the game, right? When you combine them all, if you don't, like, stick to one system. That's what I vaguely remember. I could be wrong. I've only played Vampire once, tabletop-wise. And it was at Gen Con. I've talked about this probably, like, 3 or 4 times now, but for those of you that missed it, happened at Gen Con. We played a great game. Kind of broke the system a little bit. Mostly my partner, because he had a character that just had a very high, I think, like intelligence or whatever allows you to do electronic like hacking really well. And the DM had a facility that was connected via Wi-Fi, so we were just like, we hacked everything and made the gig that we were doing, that we were performing, basically really easy because we were able to just hack everything because everything was connected to Wi-Fi. We actually, it was such a just run over of the DM's story that he decided that he wasn't going to use that character again, because we did this on like the first day we were there at Gen Con, so he was running the same campaign a couple more times, and he was specifically removing that character from play so that no one could use it, because he didn't realize that he had printed out a character with such a high score like that to allow for that kind of a broken gameplay to happen. Hello, Sean, welcome. Hello, Peter, welcome. Old Man B, it is lovely to see you. Oh, also to answer your question about the kind of chair I'm using, I am using a, I have a blanket over it right now, but this is an Aaron chair. Is that what, I think that's what it's called. Hold on, let me double check. I think it's called an Aaron. Yeah, Aeron. It's a specific like office chair by Herman Miller. Very comfortable, been great for my back. Prior to getting this chair, I had a lot of back pain. And when we switched over to using these, and I got this like refurbished, so it's not even a brand new one, it was like previously used. And then there was this, like, basically we got really lucky. So when COVID hit, we bought new office wear because we're like, well, we don't know how long we're going to be at home doing work from home, right? Thank God we did this. So we just got really lucky, grabbed some new chairs, like it was either just before COVID or like just at the very, very beginning of it, before like full lockdown had really happened. And so we got some new chairs, worked out super great for us. We're probably at the point where like I need to replace it soon because it's just like I've been sitting in it for 4 years now, like nonstop. So it's probably getting a little bit worn at this point, but really, really like them. Yeah, it's super, like, that's one of the reasons that we have it, because my partner, before we went and took YouTube and like content creation full time, he worked in game development. And so at a couple of his offices previously, they had Herman Miller Aaron chairs, and he's like, these are so good. Then we found a place that was selling some refurbished for like half the price that they are normally, and we were like, hell yeah, that's a great deal, let's get some. And it's just honestly been a blessing. I'm really, really glad we had it through the entirety of the lockdown, because work from home would have been a lot more painful otherwise. My previous chair was absolute trash in comparison. Oh, thank you, Happen. Yeah, I agree. It is great for spooky season. I do wear it all year round. I did think it was appropriate for the season, though, which is why I wore it today. There we go. This is looking good. There we go. Bam. Okay, I think I am now satisfied with how his jacket looks. It's a lot crisper. I actually feel like I can see the texture. Like, it's got a little bit of a, I don't know how well you guys can see it. If I bring them close, you might be able to. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of like a bumpy texture because it's meant to, I think, be lizard skin of some variety or some sort of like squig skin, maybe, perhaps. But it's supposed to look animal, like flesh. Oh, wow, I didn't paint the back of his collar. Hold on. But that's what the whole goal is. And before, it was looking very splotchy because I love Aethermatic Blue, but it's an incredibly transparent color tone. And because of all the texture on his jacket, it was actually accentuating that transparency in a way that I was not liking. And so now I'm much more satisfied. Although, again, I did not paint the underside of his collar. Like, I think I did like one coat from the looks of it. So let's fix that because I just got a big ol' glare of it, and we can't have him looking that unfinished. You probably won't see this very often, but it will, like, if I saw it, so it's going to bother me, you know what I mean? I mean, I hear where you're coming from, Dim. I used, like, cheap chairs, like, from, like, Targets and Office Maxes and stuff like that, so, like, you know, $100 or less, and for years, and they worked for me fine, but as I got older, I'm just like, nope, my back's too important. I need this to be fine, and it's been very comfortable. The reason I like it is because it's kind of like floating on air. You don't really feel... Like, sometimes I forget I'm in it, because it's not really, like, I don't really feel discomfort. It doesn't have a normal cushion. It's just, like, a mesh. So it really sculpts into, like, whatever your butt shape is, and therefore supports it really well. And so I just find that it's very comfortable to sit in. Oh, that's so cool! I'll have to check that out. They do a lot of, well, not a lot, but they do a weird amount of, like, 40k stuff occasionally. But I feel like they always try to keep it on the down low, as if they're ashamed to be in our fandom. Yeah, no, refurbished is the way. Like, when I get a new one, I don't think I'm probably gonna buy it, like, new. I've seen some Herman Miller, like, stores, actually near where my spa is. But I don't think I would want to buy it new. I think I would just be fine getting another one refurbished, because, I think it may have been Peter who said it, but I can't remember if it was. Was it? Yes, it was Peter. I can read a few lines above. Was saying that, like, a lot of tech companies use them. That is 100% true. And so because they recycle them very quickly, because they're, well, they used to. I don't know if they do anymore, because a lot of tech companies don't have physical offices anymore. But when they used to have them, they would recycle them relatively regularly because they'd get new employees, they give them fresh chairs, etc. And so they end up being refurbished fairly regularly. So it was easy to find actually a refurbished one and not have to go the purchasable, like the brand new. That makes sense. No problem, Charlie. Well, I hope your guitar lesson goes awesome. That sounds really, really cool. Alright, we have one more little bit to touch up, and that is on this boy's jacket as well. Because I noticed, was it on this side? Yes. I completely lifted some paint off of the edges, and or just didn't paint it. So let's fix that. Also, I don't mind actually deepening this color a little bit too, so I might just glaze the whole thing over again in Kroxigor scales. And I want to specifically glaze this because this is a much less transparent color than Aethermatic Blue, and it can get really deep really fast. And while that is lovely, I don't specifically want this to, like, completely lose all of its mid-tone. But sometimes doing, like, a second layer helps even things out a little bit. I'm just focusing right now, so I do apologize if I ignore chat for just a moment, but I want to really pay attention to how I'm moving this paint around so that I don't accidentally have things pool in a place that's, like, not gonna look good. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely really happy that I'm doing the second coating. I do actually think the depth was needed a little bit. I really like the blues, but they're weirdly, like, sometimes a bit more transparent than I expect. Even these ones that look a little less. I honestly think that's why I don't like ultramarine blue sometimes. Because it is weirdly transparent, but also, like, foggy. And I don't like that. It's not a good combination. Oh, Sean, thank you for the $5 for the Lego Train Fund. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is definitely going to be in my future. I think they're coming out with a new Hogwarts Express. And while I don't normally like getting Harry Potter Lego sets, I do like red trains a lot, and it would be a red train. So there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe. Depending on how it looks, because it's supposed to be the proper scale to fit on, like, normal train tracks for Lego, too. That's the problem with the current or like recently retired Hogwarts Express train that they came out with I don't know, a couple years ago or so. The problem with that one is it's bigger than the standard Lego train scale. So it doesn't actually work with the normal tracks pieces, which is stupid. That was like, I don't know why they did that. That just seems like a really dumb idea, but, you know, whatever. Lego makes some stupid ideas sometimes. Have you guys seen the, oh, I forget what the name of the thing is in Dune. The Ori something? The Oricopter? Hold on. I'm, like, flailing on this name. What is it called? What is it called? The Ori... I don't think that's it, but maybe it'll get me close. Ornithopter? Is that it? Nope. That's no. Okay. Is it that what it? Okay, it is an ornithopter. Okay, is that what it's called? Ornithopter?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Have you guys seen the Lego Ornithopter? It's freaking so cool looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, the mechanisms in this Lego set are just stunning to me. I saw somebody on YouTube, I'm now blanking on the particular YouTuber, unfortunately.
Did you have music playing on 2 tabs?
Do I?
You did. I just closed one of them.
Oh, I think it was only playing on one.
Oh, okay.
I'm only hearing one.
Okay, that's good. Because there were 2 of them playing the same music.
Oh, oops. No, I think we've only been hearing one. Hello, T-Warrior Painting! Oh, you're working on some of your Dark Angels? That's great. That's great. So the Ornithopter. It's really, really cool. It's got, like, a couple, I think at least one new piece that's made for it, which is the wings. But they actually move up and down. And then they also can do like the, like the scene where they dive bomb to try to save some of the people in the, that are harvesting the spice and everything.
Yeah, there's a worm approaching.
Yeah, as the worm was approaching. Like, it can do that dive bomb motion where the wings, like, back against the body of the ornithopter and, like, it dive bombs, and then it can spread it back out. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the footage of it.
Chaos Cultist is pulling up the footage so that we can show you. Because it's super, super cool. Oh, yeah, the Galileo set does look really neat. That does look really cool. That's a VIP.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gift with purchase.
A gift with purchase? Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that. We will definitely be getting it.
If I turn this on.
Hey!
Yay. Okay, and I'm just gonna turn this camera off for a quick second.
Sure.
I'm going to go to theater mode. Yep, so there might be voiceover. We are currently looking at the footage from the YouTube channel. Tiago Catarino for just full credit on that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. We're gonna just use your footage to show people how cool this ornithopter looks.
Then we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll tell you what it is. I hope you can...
Oh my god!
He
Harkonnen!
knocked over the Duke. Or the Baron.
I do love the Harkonnen minifig as well. It is a set for the Dune movies.
It's coming out in, I think, February is the projected date. So
Yes.
A month before part 2.
Yes.
Based on the 2021, what we see in the 2021.
Love the minifigure selection.
Oh my god, me too. The minifigure selection is, like, really beautifully done. A bunch of really great characters. I actually, Lady Jessica is one of my favorites.
Right.
Because it's her with the tattoos on her face and stuff, so it looks really cool. Look at her! She's beautiful!
Oh, now there's a Jason Momoa minifigure. That means we can make, what was his name in Stargate?
Oh,
Dax.
Dax!
Ronan.
No!
Ronan.
Yes, Ronan,
Ronan
yes.
Dax.
Was it Dax?
I think
Did
Ronan-
he share
Yeah, I think
Dax's
so.
name
I think
from... Okay.
From Star Trek, I think so.
Okay, that's...
Isn't Roman Dex?
It was definitely Ronan.
Yeah.
It was definitely
Regardless,
Ronan.
we're back to the Lego thing.
Yes, so sorry. I'm getting super distracted.
Like, I remember a decade ago when Lego was still doing we don't want to support violence. And I mean, an ornithopter isn't a war machine, which is...
But it's in Dune,
it's
like...
also such an old skew. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
aiming at a much older audience.
So it's... Well, I mean, I...
Watch this.
Oh, yes, this is so good.
And then you can lift it up, and there's actually this button on the back.
I love it!
For me, the coolest feature of all is actually the landing legs. So there's a knob here, so as you turn this, they all fold up together.
So the legs fold up, which is badass.
And then my favorite thing to do is...
You got the dragonfly.
If anyone remembers the movie, there's a scene where Leto flies out to observe the spice harvesting for the first time, and they realize that the crew of the spice harvester needs to be saved, so they're like trying to figure out what to do, and they go...
Yep, and
Oh! And then it can do, like, dive out. Ah! I have so much fun playing with it. I mean, look how he's handling it. It's so stable. And this is what I have said on, like, every LEGO live stream that I think I have, like, had over the last infinite amount of them that I've done. Like, it's insane to me the quality and just structure stability of some of these sets, especially the vehicles, specifically flyers. Because I say this when I especially build Star Wars ships. Like, Star Wars ships go together so well, and they are so bloody stable. And we looked at the gunship recently, like the smaller one that just recently released, and like it's so stable. Which is weird because it doesn't feel like it should be, because there's a lot of like loose moving parts and like things that feel like they shouldn't be, like that would be more flimsy because of its shape and everything, but it is so stable. And this thing, just watching him like hold it and like maneuver it and just like kind of jerk the like wings around and stuff I can't wait to build it and be like, the solidness of this structure, and every time that I'm like building it. So I'm looking forward to this one. Also, look at the Harkonnen. Now, the thing that I love about the
all a cloth
It's
piece.
all just cloth. Like, if you look, he's just a normal-sized minifig with an extremely long cloth piece, and he's raised up on one of those, like, little stands that they use, like, those
Love
clear
it.
stands. And I'm like, it's perfect. It is so perfect. I can't wait for this set. It's gonna be so good.
There you go.
Yeah, I do think, I think that makes, I think that sounds correct.
165 times.
Yeah, 165 by 1,300 pieces.
Yep.
I'm really excited for the recently leaked, the museum. That's one of the modulars coming out, I think in 2024, I believe. It sounds awesome. It's going to be in the sand green color tone, which is actually very similar to this color tone on my most recently painted orc. I'm actually very pleased. Like, we painted this flesh tone on him yesterday. It is a combination, for those of you that may have missed it, of Gut Ripper flesh and the Poxwalker shade. So these two contrast paints, both from the new 2.0 line that's been out for a little while now. So combine those onto this guy, and I love the sort of soft green sand color tone that we got out of him. So this is the similar shade that the museum is going to be in. So it's going to be green and white. It's very reminiscent, actually, of sort of a haunted house design, especially the Disney one that they did. But I'm super pumped for that. I think it's going to look amazing, and I think having, like, I already want to put a museum in my city, so I'm hoping that, like, this gives me some ideas and or is something that I can, like, expand to make into an even bigger museum space, because I think that would just be really fun, because I have a couple of, like, brick built tanks, and I'd love to put them in a museum, as if that, like, to make them reasonable to have in the city, like, realistically. And I figured, like, why not do a military history museum? And while this is going to be, I think, a natural history museum, I'm like, oh, well, I could, like, expand onto the natural history museum and have a military history, like, wing, and just make this giant museum, like, space potentially in the city down the line. So I'm hyped for it. I think it's going to be really cool. Okay, back to painting orcs. He's looking good. He's looking good. We can now move back to our actual boys, who we're supposed to be working on today, now that we're, like, a half an hour in. It's cool. It's fine. I don't know how long, by the way, I'm going to be streaming today. We'll probably be going at least for, like, an hour or two, but it may be a little longer. Who knows? I think it kind of depends on, like, when Chaos Cultist and I get hungry.
What you said?
I said I didn't know how long I was going to be streaming. It kind of depended on, like, when you and I get hungry and what we're doing for dinner. What, like, I think so.
I have lamb vindaloo. I just eat that.
You absolutely can. So, yeah, if you want to, like, cool. I'll leave that for you to snack on when you want, or eat when you want then. Let's paint. I think the next thing that I actually want to do on this guy, because we've already done it on him, is I want to work on the pants, because that's the next most recessed area. And then I also might work on the straps that are on his chest, because that is also kind of recessed. I'm also going to slightly... Sorry, I keep ending up over here, so I'm going to just slightly scoot my camera over. That seems like a logical thing to do. I really, really like... Peter, you're absolutely spot on when you say the greens are really vibrant. I completely agree. It's one of the reasons I really like contrast paint, is I think the vibrancy of a lot of the color tones maintains, even though they're very watery feeling paints, which I think is sometimes shocking to some people. And I enjoy it. I really like the potency of the pigment in contrast paints. So I'm really glad that it sounds like you might have enjoyed them. Like, did you enjoy how your miniatures for Blood Rage turned out using them? Welcome back, Habman. Well, Eddie, I hope that you enjoyed seeing those super cool upcoming Dune Lego release. I hope they do other things for Dune. I would love to see other sets. I would love to see other minifigs. I think it'd be really cool. Oh, it was an Omnithopter, and it's from the Dune movie, the 2011 Dune movie. And it'll be coming out just before the next part of that is releasing, and it's a collaboration between Dune, like the producers of Dune and Lego, has really cool mechanics, which is why we were looking at it. It's like, it blows my mind with how the wings move and everything. Really awesome. That's absolutely fair. One of the things that I like doing with contrast paint is kind of doing a combination of using it as both a base paint, but also as like a really potent wash to then give myself guidance for where some of my other highlights should be when doing some layering. Like, I've tried to do that a little bit more. I also just like to highlight things with dry brushing, so I tend to do that as well. But I totally get that. I completely get that. All right, what I want to do the straps first, actually. So I'm gonna grab, not Gargax Sewer, not Skeleton Horde. Let's do Snakebite. Let's just do straight up Snakebite leather. Hello, John. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful evening so far. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, right? Yes. No. Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I'm off a day because I'm streaming on a day I normally don't. No one panic, it's not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. I just don't know what day of the week it is. Alright, I think this is a good angle for me to see his straps and not get too much paint everywhere. That's looking good. Let's get a little bit on this edge if I can. There we go. Oh, perfect. I do love when the contrast paint really wants to do exactly as I demand it to. God, there we go. Okay, let's get... Oh, I'm getting a little bit nervous. My hand is shaking slightly. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. We're good. We're good. Now up to here. Oh, almost. Okay, I fixed it. I got like the tiniest dot of brown on his chest. And I think I've cleaned it up. Okay. Let's get a bit more paint on the brush. Yay! Oh, that's true. It is dynamite. I will admit, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little just not in love with dynamite right now. I just, it's not that I dislike anybody on, like, the roster right now with AEW. Like, nothing against any of the performers. I just feel like there's nothing happening exciting-wise for me, plot-wise. And Dynamite has been, like, the same dozen or so people cycling like the story, like the same stories amongst those people, I feel like for months now, and I'm just over it. I'm super over it. Are you in New Zealand or like Australia then? Is that where like, or because what I forget which side of the continent, like, or which side of the planet would end up being in Thursday already based off of time zones. So I think you must be super ahead. So maybe on that side. He's got these crisscross straps on his chest, and they're so, like, delicately against his chest and, like, neck. And I'm trying desperately not to get any brown paint on any of his nice flesh tone that I've painted, all that green that I've painted, so that's why I'm concentrating and being a little bit quiet. I have not been following NXT James in quite a while, but I have been hearing and just seeing online that NXT might be back in another, like, golden era. I've heard people talk about it. Halloween Havoc, I saw a couple of, like, pictures from it. Looked awesome. So, honestly, I might be, like, it might be one of those things where I jump back into a little bit more of WWE's content, specifically with NXT. Mostly because I've always really liked Triple H's booking. And I don't know if he's booking NXT again, or if that's still like Shawn Michaels and some other people, but I hear good things about it. Okay, getting it on his jacket's fine because we can clean that up, so I'm really not gonna care. And that way we make sure we get it on that strap. All right, the other place that I need to be kind of careful is like right here. Okay, I think that's pretty decent. I'm gonna paint a couple other things in snakebite leather just to take care of that. Very specifically, I think I want to put... Should I make that leather or metal? I'm gonna make that metal. I feel like he's got a lot of metal on him, and I feel like this would not be chained to leather. I feel like it would be... Well, actually, I'll let you guys decide. Do you think... Okay, here is my reasoning for why I think I should paint this bracelet in brown fur leather. He's got a chain attached to it, which I'm going to end up doing in, like, the Silicanum Gray, and then he's got this, like, glove for his flamer, or whatever gun this is, I don't actually know. But he's got this gloved hand, which I'm going to obviously do up in metal, and will likely be... I'm almost tempted to make this in gray, but then do a glaze of red over top of it. So do you think I should still do this in gray as well, like the bracelet, or do you think I should do it in snakebite leather to just have it be a little bit differentiated from the two gray tones we're going to be seeing here? I'm inclined to say, like, do it in the leather, but I'd love your opinion. Awesome. That's my problem with it, is, like, Dynamite has been super repetitive, and I don't really, like, because Collision is on Saturday, it's just not at a good time for me, so I'm not able to catch it very often. And then Rampage is on, what, Fridays? Again, really kind of not a good time for me to watch it. So I haven't really been watching it much. That's what I thought. I thought Shawn Michaels was, but I wasn't sure with Trips back if he was having more of a say going forward, or if it was still, he was just like, nah, Shawn, you can continue handling this. I'm gonna just focus on SmackDown and Raw. Oh, Jake, that's really cool. Does your nephew wrestle for, like, what indie promotion, or what promotion, just in general, does your nephew wrestle for? Is it one that, like, we would recognize? Is he on TV, or is this, like, a more local thing? Either is super cool. I go to local shows sometimes, like not a huge amount of them in my area. There are a few in my area, but back to that busy thing that I was talking about earlier. Just sometimes things get a little busy. I think I'm in agreement. I think the leather is the good option here, and I've seen a couple of you call that out as well, so we're gonna do it. We're just gonna do it, paint it with some leather. One of my tricks to keeping my hand really steady is you see how like my pinky ends up being braced against the miniature? If you can end up having like one finger sort of braced against it that I'm using to hold the brush, it does sometimes help. I did just get some brown everywhere though as I was trying to demonstrate that poorly. I got so focused on trying to do my demonstration that I just ignored everything that I was doing and focusing on painting. What kind of tutorialist am I? Sometimes not a very good one. Keep getting slightly too much more water than I want in my brush. There we go. Okay, I think that's a good flow. That's looking good. Now the tricky part. Now the tricky part of getting it on the inside. Alright, I think we did it okay on that side. Let's flip him around and try to work from this side now. Evening, Gavin. Welcome to the stream. I would highly encourage, if you ever get the chance, to definitely do a wrestling show if possible. They are, like, honestly, that's what got me into wrestling more than anything else. Is I had nothing against watching it on TV because it is pretty exciting to watch on television, but it is way different going even to just a house show and experiencing it live. The excitement is just really cool. Okay, I think it's actually looking pretty decent. Okay, I'm happy with that. I want to do one more thing at least with this color, although I am debating doing his backpack in this color as well, but his boots are definitely getting it. Hello, Diggs! Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great day. You just really wanted him to know that you were saying hello to him, which is fine. Wait, really? He's the current, your nephew is the current NXT Tag Team Champ. Which means, okay, hold on. What is going, okay. Holy bejesus phone. NXT tag team champion. Who are currently... So, are you telling me that one of your nephew is either... Your nephew is either Tony D'Angelo or Channing Stacks Lorenzo? Because they... I mean, I guess it's a spoilers for anybody. I don't know if, or were they the previous champs? Because they... So this... Apparently, there was a tag team championship change at Halloween Havoc. Oh my god. That is so cool. Well, now I feel like I have to go. Like, that is so cool. That is so cool. Now I feel like I definitely got to go back and watch NXT. That is hilarious. That's great. That's great. Oh, that's absolutely fair. I don't know, like, I have not been keeping up with NXT at all, so I do not know who is who anymore. Like, the last time that let me just put this forward. The last time that I was actively watching NXT, like, Bobby Roode was still around and stuff. And, like, God, who was the champion? Was it Keith Lee? I don't remember who was champion when I last stopped watching. But basically, like, when they went into the...
Don't you forget about Keith! Oh!
Was he our champ when we stopped watching?
I was very close to that.
Okay, yeah, because apparently, Jack Burton in chat is, the uncle to Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah. And I'm like, whoa! My mind.
So what, he's a member of the family?
Yeah, he's a member of the family.
He's a member of the family.
Yes,
I hope they can hear the terrible stereotype that I'm trying to imply here.
I think they probably can. No, that's fucking awesome. That is so cool, and that's awesome. Oh, he's still a bum. Well, that's fair. I will not hold that against him. Yeah, see, normally I'm keeping up with wrestling through Wrestle Talk when it comes to WWE's content, but even then, I haven't actually been following. I've mostly been watching the Wrestle Talk news that cover the AEW stuff. I've not even fully been getting all of the Raw and SmackDown coverage. I think I've seen some of the SmackDown stuff because I was following for a time what was going on with the Bloodline and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But then I feel like they borked that, and then I kind of like stopped caring again about WWE as well. And the only thing that's really brought me back in is the fact that Vince is actually like gone and like out of creative, I mean, at least, and that like Triple H is back heralding things again.
Yeah, I do want us to watch Halloween Havoc.
I've
heard good things.
I've also heard great things
and
about
you love
it.
Halloween themed.
I do, and like Shotzi, holy shit! I've seen pictures of Shotzi's costume. Like, I don't know if it was a bald cap,
I think so,
or if she had actually still had her head shaved, because you did say she shaved her head for a while.
she did, but that was like 2 months ago.
Okay, so like maybe she still has very short hair then, is probably what it is. And so the bald cap just looks like it fits really well. But like, it's so convincing to me because when I first saw her like dressed up as Pinhead, I was like, this is fucking great. And I was convinced she had shaved her head. That is so cool. That is, that's amazing. I'm actually slightly, Chaos Cultist came in here and he had a croissant in his hand and it made me hungry. So I'm going to very briefly pop, because we're about an hour into the stream now, I realized, mostly because we've been talking about wrestling. Thank you for that. I do enjoy, it's appropriate. It's Wednesday night, Dynamite's on later, in like a half an hour.
You remember we have an AEW show that we're going to in like
3 weeks.
Oh my god, that's right. Is that the that's like the show before their like pay-per-view in
Yes.
LA or something?
Yes.
Yes. We're going to be going to one of the Dynamites pre the
I
LA
think it's a collision.
or is it a collision? Okay. Oh, because we're going on Saturday
Mhm.
or Friday or whatever whenever they
I think it's Friday. They film Collision.
Got it. Okay. So we're going to a collision show on a Friday upcoming, like in a couple weeks. That is supposed to be, I think, the Friday before, like the collision before. What is it? All in, all out.
We are going on Friday, so I was wrong about that.
Okay,
so
so-
it is ramp. So yeah, it is probably filming Collision.
So we're filming. We're going to the filming of Collision.
And what I think it is the pay-per-view for AEW is either the Saturday or Sunday
Got it.
after that.
Okay, sick. So we're going to one that's like happening just before one of their pay-per-views. I think it's happening in LA, which should be really fun. We've been to a couple of AEW shows. We do always enjoy them. And like at this point, like
We are opposite hard cam, but I don't think we'll be in view.
yes, we are opposite hard cam, but I don't think we'll be in view because I think we're up a little higher than where like you would normally see for the view, which is totally fine. But I do love going to AEW shows because they're always a lot of fun. Like the crowds tend to be pretty like into it, which is great. I also like, so when I was watching NXT back in the black and gold era, we did actually get to go to a couple of NXT shows out here in the Bay Area. We unfortunately missed the first pay-per-view show for that WrestleMania weekend because we were at WrestleMania 31. But we didn't end up getting like tickets for the NXT show. That was like the
We
Thursday.
would have had to drive 3 hours total, and half of that would have been driven at 2 a.m.
Yeah, and so we really didn't want to, like, we weren't committed enough.
Spiritually, we should have gone.
Spiritually, we should have gone. Like, and when retrospectively we look back at it, we're like, yeah, we should have gone. But we didn't. But we have gone to other NXT shows that have come to the area, and they're always a lot of fun. I mean, it was always also great because, like, they always ended up being in San Jose. And Bailey's from San Jose, so she was always at them, and it was always a blast, and everybody was, like, super in to, like, dancing with her and everything, and it was really great.
Dude, Bailey was at the New Japan show.
Dude, that was really cool. We also get a lot of New Japan shows.
Yeah, so we had a New Japan show that we went to in San Jose earlier this year, and it was fascinating. It was the match where Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks,
Yes.
won the women's title for New Japan.
Yes, which was really cool to see.
But the interesting thing about that night was in the audience was one, Bailey was like masked up
Yes.
and everything, but there was a point where everyone
She like pulled it down because she was screaming when Sasha or when Monet won. It was fantastic.
So like after that she left or went backstage, I think. The other thing that was interesting about that night is CM Punk was
Oh,
there.
yeah, that was wild.
Like it was really weird because CM Punk was in the audience up high hanging out with some promoters.
Yes, I don't
But
remember.
like it took like the crowd like 10 minutes to start to notice.
And eventually there was like this massive line for people to just come and like sit with him and meet
Because
him
this
for a
was
moment.
before he debuted with AEW.
Yes, this was before he had debuted with the AEW, so he was sort of like doing the, back when he was doing the rounds of like teasing where he may or may not end up going. He ended up at that New Japan show.
Yeah, so it was really weird. There was a point we were in the same room with Mercedes Moné, Bailey, and CM Punk.
Yep.
Like at the same time.
Yeah, it
That
was very
weird.
strange. Yeah, it was very, very strange. All right, I'm going to be right back, you guys. I want to grab myself a little bit of a snack to sort of tide me over until I have a full meal later, because I am a little bit peckish. It's been a while since I've had lunch. So give me not 1 minute. I can't eat and make food that quickly. But give me like 10 minutes and I will be right back. Also, Jack, I hope that you enjoy your bowling night. That sounds awesome. We actually just had a bowling ring or a bowling arena ring. Is that what they're called? Alley? Bowling alley. That's what they're called. I have a brain sometimes. A bowling alley like that just opened up in a mall near us, and we've gone to the arcade that's attached to it. It was very fun. Got a whole bunch of points and then gifted it to a small child, I think making her day, because I think she can now get like a shit ton of like sweets or just other junk that they had as part of the gift thing or the prize area for the tickets. But had a blast winning all those tickets. Kicked ass. It was awesome. I don't believe he's gonna end up at TNA. I don't think Punk is coming back. I don't think any wrestling company or MMA company is going to want to touch Punk after like his recent history with employment. And also his recent history with injury. I just don't think he's like, who knows? I could be completely wrong. I could be absolutely completely wrong. And if I am, then whatever. But I don't think he's going to come back. I think he's just stirring the pot because he's a big fucking troll. And he just likes causing drama. And the main reason I say that is because like AEW is still like Pro Wrestling Tees is still selling CM Punk shirts, which means that man is still making money. And I don't think he's going to come back and bother doing anything pro wrestling wise when he can just probably like bank off of, you know, the millions of dollars he's already made and doing appearances like elsewhere on like talk shows or whatever, that kind of thing, not actually having to put his body through anything anymore. And then also all of his t-shirt sales. So I agree. I think he burned way too many bridges. I think he pushed things too far. Personally, but I've also never been a fan of CM Punk. I've never liked him. I was optimistic when he came to AEW because I was like, all right, this is a fresh start. I never watched him back in the day when he was at any of the other companies he worked for, so like WWE or Impact or anything like that. Like I never watched his content or his performances. I've only ever heard about him, so like I didn't have a real opinion. And frankly, like, while he's entertaining in the ring, I don't think he's the greatest. I also think he's way too full of himself, and he's incredibly selfish. He just strikes me as, like, the most selfish person. Like, or not the most selfish person, but he's a very selfish person. Like, he's a very selfish performer. And it really, like, his entire attitude has always rubbed me the wrong way, and unfortunately, his attitude in AEW over the progressive, like, time that he was there just kind of reinforced sort of my negative opinion of him, and it's just stuck, and I don't think I'll ever have a high opinion of CM Punk outside of respecting him for, like, what he's done, because I don't deny that he hasn't, like, moved things in the industry, shooken things up for positive and sometimes negative ways, but, like, also still positive ways, but, like, I don't know. I just don't. I've never been a fan, still not a fan. I'm gonna go get some food now. I'll be back at 4:45. Okay? That's when I'm gonna be back. I'll be right back, guys. All right. Let me know how that is. I've turned my microphone back on. I've lowered our music back down. Do let me know if it is not enough. And then, Peter, to answer your question, I know it was for chat as well, but screw it, I'm going to answer it too. I have not been gaming a huge amount recently. I have been gaming some. I've been playing a little bit of Cyberpunk. I've been playing a little bit of Honey Pop 2. And I was playing Starfield, but I've given up on that because I think it pissed me off. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed in Starfield. It was not what I was hoping for. Now, I remember that last time we talked about maybe doing his jacket in purple. Do I still want to do that? Is my music actually playing? I can't tell. Yes. Okay, I just had it very low. I think I had turned my music completely off. Focus. Camera. Nope. Focus. Okay, sorry. I messed with my camera. Music is a good level. Okay, good. Good. Thank you. Awesome. But yeah, those are the games that I've been playing recently. So not Starfield anymore, but I was playing Starfield when that first came out. I want to try, and I have not done so yet, but I do want to try the new update that Darktide has received, because I liked Darktide when it first came out, but it got really repetitive really quickly, and so as soon as I had hit the point where I had gotten one of my characters, like I was playing a Zealot, and as soon as I got that Zealot to level 30, I was like, cool, I'm done. I feel like I have beat everything in this game that I can. I have gone through, like, I think I got up to, like, level 3 or 4. I can't remember now how many difficulty levels there were in the game off the top of my head, but I want to say I was one below the, like, basically impossible level when it came to, like, difficulty, so I was feeling fairly accomplished there. I don't normally get to that level in these types of games, so I was like, cool, I'm feeling good, and I'm satisfied now. I've got this character to 30, I'm gonna just stop. But they've updated it now and really redone, like, the leveling system and everything like that, so I want to give that a try and just see what it's like, and maybe play a different class. Like, maybe this time I'll go in as an ogre, because I always wanted to try the ogre. I've never really played one of the, like, the big heavy characters before, but at the time I was just more comfortable doing a zealot. I also really like zealots. Go figure. And he's not gonna be purple. He's a green orc. He's a green orc. He's just gonna be wearing a purple jacket. He's a pirate. He can wear whatever jacket. He looted it off of some hoomie. It's fine. It's fine, Alex. Excellent. Well, I'm glad you were enjoying the music. Yeah, I think a lot of people were... Well, my biggest problem is I don't feel like Bethesda actually showed us anything about what the game was meant to be. And so, like, we all built up our own expectations of, like, oh my god, it's gonna be like Skyrim, but in No Man's Sky. Like, and I feel like that's what a lot of people's, like, conceptions of what the game was meant to be like, and then it really wasn't that. All of the, like, NPCs, in my opinion, are boring as sin. And, like, there's nothing motivating. Like, there's no antagonist. Like, what the fuck am I, like, why do I care? Okay, I'm just gonna go on a small rant here for a second, because, like, this really bothers me. I don't understand what Bethesda's, like, idea for motivating me as a player to do anything in Starfield at all. Because the opening is fucking boring. I am a miner. Great. I touch a rock and I pass out and have a vision. Whatever. That's not exciting. Then, like, you were introduced to this group of people who's looking for the artifacts, but there's nothing, like, no one cares about them. They've kind of been on the down low for, like, years because they had sort of, like, a falling out, so people weren't even sure they're around anymore. So it really, like, their presence has zero impact on the world. Your existence as, like, this chosen character to go find all these powers, which, by the way, to get are bullshit. You would, like, float your way in 0G through, like, shimmery stuff as this, like, pillar thing, like, glows and, like, spins or whatever, and, like, you do that a bunch of times until the game feels satisfied, and then it gives you a power, whoop-de-doo. That's all you do. And it's like, no one's trying to stop you. Like, At minimum, they could have been, like, made the pirates, because they kind of set up the pirates to sort of be going after you, but it's not even you or the artifacts that, like, the pirates are going after. They just want the dude's ship. Like, I don't remember his name now off the top of my head, because that's how unmemorable he is. But, like, the guy that you meet who gives you your ship the first time when you're, like, doing the tutorial, you go in, they meet him, and the pirates don't even say that they're, like, after the treasure or, like, the ship they don't say they're after you or even him. They're just like, oh, we just want the ship and, like, the stuff that's on the ship because, like, one time we, like, looted him and he had a bunch of cool stuff once, and so we just, like, we want to do this. And you can, like, talk them out of it and convince them that there's nothing worthwhile on the ship, that the ship's a piece of shit, because it is, because it's your starter ship. And until you upgrade it, it's really not, like, that great. And then, like, and then there's nothing. And then there's nothing motivating you to actually go out and find these fucking powers. Like, what? Why? Why do I care? And that's my big, like, that is my problem with Starfield. Like, at least in Skyrim and, like, Oblivion and Fallout, there's a reason for, like, they give you motivation as your character to go do shit and find things. And then, like, everything I found on a planet that wasn't explicitly tied to some kind of, like, quest or, like, hard narrative was just a, like, empty building with maybe some pirates or turrets in it, an empty mine with maybe some monsters or turrets in it, or, like, just a bunch of empty shit. Like, I'm so confused about the world, too, because we have these, like, built-up big cities, and we see these scattered remains of human shit on every goddamn planet, but we feel apocalyptic in that, like, there's not a lot of people, our numbers are very sparse. So I'm like, how do we have things, like, these giant facilities, like, these giant corporation facilities, and, like, other buildings on these planets, but our population is this small because Earth died and only, like, a portion of us got off? What? Like, I don't get it. I have briefly touched base, Alex, with the new Rogue Trader CRPG from Owlcat. I really like it. It is a very, if you are going in and you end up wanting to, like, say, compare it to Baldur's Gate 3, it's a very different game. There's, like, almost no voice acting in it from what I recall, and I don't know if that was just because I was playing, like, a beta, but I don't think they're going to be having, like, full-blown on voice acting like they do in Baldur's Gate 3, because in the Pathfinder games that Owlcat has made, I don't believe they do full voice acting in those either. So it's gonna be a lot of text reading, which I don't necessarily mind, but, like, I don't think it's gonna be a very good streaming game, so I don't think you're gonna see people streaming it very often, because it's gonna just be too much reading, and, like, no streamer is gonna want to, like, voice that much stuff, especially when they're speaking in, like, Imperial context or alien stuff, and it's just a bunch of, like, weirdo words that people may or may not be familiar with, depending on how versed in 40k lore they are or are not. But I have tried it, and I enjoyed what I saw of it. And I saw a recent trailer that I probably will include. Well, I don't know if I will include it in any upcoming news, because it'll probably be irrelevant by that point. But I did see a recent trailer talking about, like, some additional stuff about the game recently that did have me excited to play, because I think based on, like, there's some choice differences, like, differences in choices that you make, and they were just playing up more of that mechanic in the game of your whether or not you choose to be a good guy versus a bad guy, like if you're for the Imperium or if you end up going towards chaos, or if you're just a little bit, like, heretical and go a little bit more, like, Xeno friendly, etc., and how that can impact your game. And so I'm really looking forward to that element of it. Okay. Rant over. Bethesda needs to get their shit together. Basically, what the TRLD of that rant. Starfield was a disappointment. They need to get their shit together. Do I still want to paint this Orc's jacket in purple? I do, but I'm going to do it in the Druchii Violet. Or, sorry, the Dreadful Visage. I'm going to do that really pale purple. And see, that's one of the things that I think is going to be a little bit of a struggle, possibly, for for the CRPG for Rogue Trader as well, because I feel like, unfortunately, the game, I think, is going to put off a lot of people who are not familiar with the lore, because I think it's going to be a little strange. But I am very excited about potentially being able to romance, like, some of the characters in the game. I'm still just disappointed that I can't actually, like... I get not being able to romance the Space Marine, okay? I get not being able to convince the Space Wolf to bang me. But, like... why can't I convince the Sister of Battle to do so? Like, she is not as, like, genetically modified to be pure and not succumb to temptation in the same way that the Space Marine could. I want to be able to date the Sister of Battle. Gosh darn it. And no, Alex, I unfortunately am not fluent in High Gothic. I wish I was. Could you imagine? Oh, no. Oh, well, I hate to break this to you, but, we worship Slaanesh here, and so the Emperor can go fuck himself. No, I'm kidding. But no, sadly, I'm not fluent in High Gothic. I should be. Could you imagine? Oh, nice! I've heard great things about, I've not played much of it. So for Pathfinder 2.0, the tabletop game, I was at Gen Con when they were debuting, like, the beta version of it. The playtest. I was trying to think, they were like, what is the word that they use for tabletop RPGs and other board games for the beta version of their game, and it's playtest. So I was there when they released the playtest version of Pathfinder 2.0. So that was my one experience with the game. I have not tried it since, like, it's been released in full, but I've heard fantastic things about Pathfinder 2.0. All right. I do not need to be using this color right now. What am I doing? I am, like, way jumping ahead. Guys, we're not on to the purple yet. We still have Snakebite Leather to paint with his boots, and we want to take care of the pants first. What are you letting me do? How could you let me get this distracted? Yes, I'm blaming you. Okay, boots. Focus. All right. Do you have those high? You do. I love these kinds of boots. All right. Also, Angela, make sure your camera is in focus. Please, thank you. You're wonderful. Alright, I think after we're done with the boots, and I'll double check and make sure there isn't anything we want to paint in leather on the other guy before we stop using this color. But once we're done with the snakebite leather, I think we're going to do a little bit of a cleanup step. Just to get some of our, like, jackets and everything clear so that we can. Well, actually, we'll do the cleanup step probably after we do the pants. And speaking of which, I should probably be mildly careful around them so that I don't have to clean them up before actually painting them. That would be bad. I guess it wouldn't be the worst, but it'd be tedious. Not even tedious. Redundant? Is that what I'm looking for? I don't know. It's been a long week. My brain is tired. But honestly, this has been very relaxing. And I've got to rant a few times. Woo! Alright, that's looking really nice. I think I've gotten everything on this side, so... You just need a little... There's like a lip, I think, on the rim of the boots, and I'm trying to figure out how I can get to it. Maybe from this angle? There we go. No, hold on. Okay, I think that's good enough. It's good enough. I'm gonna call it good enough. I love Divinity Original Sin, but okay. Larian, fantastic game studio. Love their games. BG3 has been fantastic. I have not finished it yet, so don't spoil anything. I have not gotten to like Act 2 or 3. I'm still in Act 1 because I actually haven't played in a little while. I just haven't had time. But I still want to, so do not spoil. I love Divinity Original Sin 2. Divinity Original Sin, the original one, is also good. I've played less of that, but I did play a significant amount. I do like 2 better, but what I actually love that Divinity, or that Larian Studios has made, is Dragon Commander. Holy shit. Do I love Dragon Commander so much. How many of you have played Dragon Commander? Put your hands up, because... it's so good. I need to know how many people have experienced the glory that is Dragon Commander. And then we'll talk about how I'm really disappointed that I don't think we're going to be getting, like, the successor to Dragon Commander. Because it makes me so sad that we're not. And I actually, it's partially Baldur's Gate 3's fault, I think. But we're not going to talk about that. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm over it. I'm actually over it. I'm very disappointed. Dragon Commander was such a good game. Oh my god. You could bang so many women. And it was a fun, is it technically a real-time strategy? Is that what it is? When you go into like the other mode? Because it's a dating sim. Basically, it's like a dating sim, like Civ management game combined with, hold on, I want to see what they officially labeled it as. Because it's such a fucking good game. Okay, yeah, it is a real-time strategy game. So, Dragon Commander is, like, an amazing, kind of slightly wonky real-time strategy game. I remember the controls being slightly finicky when I played it during the real-time strategy portion. But the best part about it is, like, outside of the real-time strategy area where you're, like, conquering these various lands, going through, like, this whole, like, scenario, you are being seduced slowly by your ship, which is great, because there's a demon living in it. Don't ask, you'll have to play it to figure it out. But then there's also a bunch of, like, so there's a bunch of different races in the world, including, like, the undead race, and then, like, the lizard folk, and then there's, like, I think there's, like, elves, or possibly, like, I think they're high elves, essentially, but they may be just, like, fae, or, like, woodland elf type. Like, I just remember she has, I want to say she had, like, wings, or maybe they were just, like, I can't remember. Anyways, the point is there's a lot of diplomats that you're having to, like, schmooze as part of the gameplay, because there's a like RPG element to it. Okay, part of the schmoozing is you can like bang their daughters, essentially. Like each of the lands has a woman you can bang, and some of them you can sacrifice the demon in your ship and then end up banging one of the other ones. And I'm just saying, like, Jesse Cox put it really great in a, like, video from ages ago from him, back on, like, one of their podcasts that they used to do with Total Biscuit and Dodger. He was talking about it. They did a beautiful animated short on it. So if you've ever watched, like, Cox Clips or whatever, the, like, animated shorts that Jesse does, great animated little feature of it. It sold me on the game. I played it. It was majestic. I highly recommend Dragon Commander. It is wonderful. And also very silly. And very horny. But it is also like an RTS, so if you like RTSs, like it is a enjoyable RTS. Like I said, I want to say there was like some mild finickiness, and actually, so the way that I played it, this is back on Chaos Cultist and I old channel where we did more Let's Plays, and the way that we played it is Chaos Cultist controlled it when we did the RTS stuff, because at the time when we were doing this, I was really not comfortable with that form of gameplay. It was just a little more than I think I could handle at the time. And so what happened was I basically chose all of the social elements. So any of the like seducing and diplomatic stuff I would choose. And he was my military commander running the RTS portion of the game. And so it was a freaking hoot. I loved it. Morgan, and like, I love the romances in Dragon Age. I was an Alistair girl, personally. Like, I wanted to become queen. But I did flirt with Morgan a lot. I also banged Zev a lot. Because he didn't really care that I was flirty with some of the other ones until a certain point. Like, he did eventually care. But for the most part, he was, like, cool with it. So. But ultimately, I tended to choose Alistair. I liked my good boy. My very dumb boy. Alright, I love how the boots have turned out. I think we need to get a little bit more on the inside here, smidge on this one that I just painted. But yeah, that is looking great. Wonderful. Okay. We're just gonna let those dry. I'm gonna make... I am not going to do this one in brown. I'm gonna actually do this one in Aethermatic Blue to tie him into some of the other boys, since I don't plan on having his jacket be blue. But I want him to have a little bit of an element on that, because so far, like, this particular grouping of guys has really leaned in the green and teal color scheme, so I want that crew to kind of stay together, with the exception of, I guess, like, the captain, but he can be, I'm not showing you, hold on. But for the most part, like, the crew members have all been in blues. It's the one reason I'm hesitant to do the purple, because, like, I've done them all in blue so far, so I'm almost feeling like, should I just do another blue tone? Like, I could do, I don't know if the blues are gonna work. Ooh, I could do a really dark blue, actually. Maybe that's what I do. Because I'm not sold on the purple. Oh, to be fair, I have not played it in, like, years, like 6 or 7 plus years, so I could completely believe that Dragon Commander has not aged super well. That's why I'm disappointed that they canceled the remake that they were, or not the remake, but the sequel, or just at least, like, successor to the franchise, because it was supposed to be more of, instead of having the RTS side, it was going to be, like, the Dragon Commander elements, I believe. I don't remember actually now if it had RTS in it. But basically, it took more from a Divinity Original Sin in the top-down isometric, like, RPG format. But then you still had all the diplomacy stuff, so you still got to, like, do all of that fun social element that you get in Dragon Commander, and I wanted that so badly. It sounded so perfect. And now it's never gonna happen. I could. I mean, that is a reason. That is an excuse to do the purple, I suppose. I just haven't decided what purple to do. Because we ended up going with such a muted green color tone for his flesh. Like, so part of my concern is I want him to still pop. And I haven't used this, like, minty green color before. And so I'm struggling, and this is one of the things that I was talking about yesterday, and for those of you that may have missed it, let me just sort of briefly recap it. I'm not super confident with my color choices. I never have been. Color theory has never been my strong suit because of my terrible experience in college with my color theory professor, who made me paint just nothing but squares for all of my assignments, and it just drove me mad. And then when I took my coloring classes, when it came to, like, my actual degree choice, it was all digital, and I did not enjoy it, so I did not pay attention, and my professor was not that great. She was relatively new to being a professor, and I just, like, her teaching method and my learning method did not mix. And so I didn't really feel confident until much later in life with even making color choices, and I still don't have a huge amount of confidence. So because I've never worked with this sort of, like, minty green before, I'm sitting here going, what should I pair with it? I'm struggling, and so that's where I'm at. All right, I did actually think of, well, you know what? I'm going to paint those later, though, because I don't want to fuck with them until I've painted the jackets. I was thinking I want to do the straps in leather on both the orcs that I've got right now. So, like, this brighter green boy and then the one that we have been painting. They both have straps connecting their backpacks to their, well, for them to hold their backpacks on. And so, because, you know, backpacks have straps. I don't know why I feel like I need to figure this out or, like, clarify this so much, but I do. And so I want to paint those also in snakebite leather, but it occurs to me that I probably don't want to do that until after I've painted the jackets on both of them, because I'm gonna definitely get whatever color I paint the jackets on that. So we will pause then with the leather and move on to his pants. So if I do the purple, to help persuade me into that, let's go with Agros Dune, which I've done on a couple of them. I've actually done it a lot. Should I do it again? I'm going to do it again. Screw it. So let's go with Agros Dune for his pants. That way we have a nice khaki, which I do think will, like, the yellow tone will go with the purple very well, because yellow and purple are complementary colors. All right. Flip you around and let's... Oh, I just realized there's a whole section of little where I need to paint some more snakebite leather, but we'll do that again after. This should go pretty quickly. Agros Dune, by the way, is one of my favorite brown tones in the contrast line because of how pale it is. It is a really, like, I mean, it really is like a dune color tone. So if you want to paint like sandy schemes, like paint with a lot of like warm yellows that lean into a brown, this is a really great color for that. And the nice thing is you can thin it and make it a little bit more yellow, or you can layer it up and make it a little bit more of a richer brown. And I like that variety. It also works really well as both a glaze or a wash over just standard like tans or taupey color tones. Like if you're working with more of a traditional paint scheme and you're doing like layers and stuff, it does work as a good wash color tone because of how pale it can be, but how dark it can get into the recesses. All right, that is the pants taken care of. There really wasn't like a huge amount to deal with. However, I noticed a small bit of snakebite leather that I didn't paint, so let me take care of that. Oh, that sounds really cool. You're gonna do a GTA, like, 1/64th scale truck build? Like, are you doing, like, is this like a from scratch build? Or is there somebody that makes GTA model kits? I assume it's a scratch build, since I know you're kind of, like, really into that and very talented at it. So that's my assumption, but fill me in. Also, yes, is it RC? Like, is it going to be an RC car? Because if so, that's sick. That is, like, super sick. Very cool. Right, because I always forget that you do more of the Hot Wheels scale ones. That is super cool. Have you ever built one that is that scale that could be remote controlled? Like, I assume with modern, like, motherboards and electronic equipment, you could make one to that size. I'm just bad at scales, so I'm just dumb. And I didn't realize that was... I always forget 1/64 is very small. For some reason, I don't know why, I put it on par with the 1/35th scale, which is what I do all my tanks in, but even though that's clearly wrong, because they're definitely not the same numbers. Very cool. That's awesome. One of these days, I know, like, because I know Tamiya makes a bunch of the RC model kits for some of their vehicles, and one day I do want to, like, venture in that direction when it comes to scale models. I am not confident enough yet to do that soon, but it is something, like, that I want to try. I think, like, outside, so I've built one plane. I'd like to do at least one more, but I'd also like to do a ship. So outside of doing some, like, I really enjoy the tanks. Like, the tanks are just fun because I can also, if I really wanted to, I could end up using them in war games. War games. Every time I say that, I always think of William Regal. Like, every single fucking time. But yeah, so I can use them in war games. But I do want to try my hand at doing a ship because they're so, like, I just want to try it. I've never built a ship before, and I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I do also... I've also never done any car models, so I do eventually want to do a car. I kind of actually want to get one of the car I drive, because I assume they probably have made one, even if it's not the same year, like, they've probably made one in the past. I drive a Mazda, so, like, I assume they've got some Mazdas. And then... But eventually, sorry, my mind froze for a moment. Sometimes the computer in my brain, and by computer I mean the small hamsters that, like, spin a wheel that charges the computer that my brain uses to actually access information, they stop. They get tired, and they just cease. But I do want to do one eventually that is, like, an RC, so that I can actually drive it. Like, I just think that would be rad. And then I'll put a flavor on it, like I saw at Open Sauce, and then it'll be the most badass thing, and I'll bring it to an apocalypse game, and it'll be amazing. He is the War Games voice. Gosh, I know, right, Peter? Hobbies cost so much money sometimes, like, especially these kind where they're very luxury of, like, oh, it's an art form and blah, 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 blah. And it takes skill to do because you're building things. And it's like, yes, and it's very cool, but gosh darn, sometimes is it expensive because you need a bunch of shit to, like, go along with it. All right, his pants are looking pretty good, actually. They need to dry a smidge more, which is fine, because in the meantime, I realized I actually painted over his lips. Let me just fix this guy's lip real quick. Like, do you guys see what I did to this poor man? When I was cleaning up his teeth, I also cleaned up his lip, and now he doesn't have a green there. I think yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is just a pure Plague Bearer Flesh boy. There's some recesses on his face that I feel like could be popped a bit better, so I'm just gonna do some touch-up while I've got this color in my brush. Man, I really do like the sculpts on Kromlech's faces. Turning him at weird angles so that I avoid hitting the teeth and having to do... I mean, I'm gonna have to re-clean up his, like, jewelry and stuff, I guess, so it's not that big of a deal, but... the less cleanup I have to redo, the better. So the problem with going and doing a little bit of touch-up on a miniature that you haven't touched in ages, you're like, wow, look how sloppy I was and how much paint I didn't get on that, like, one area. How dare I? Like, look, I just completely just stopped painting this for some reason. Just, like, apparently mid-paint. Which seems mildly problematic. He's also looking a smidge yellow, so I'm just going back over some of his flesh with some more Plague Bearers to get a bit more green. Especially on the arms. I feel like the arms got very pale. Yeah, I'm sorry about, like, the links thing. I think that's just a setting that I have set up for making sure we don't get spammed with random, like... Honestly, we used to have a problem with, like, porn bots coming on here and trying to, like, send people away. So, it's just the way to cease that from happening. Alright, that is looking good on this side. So let's grab a little bit of my excess and use it on this side. Where are these fibers coming from? Get out of here. Alright, I think I got rid of the fibers. There was like random little threads. I don't know if you guys saw them. I saw them and they disappointed me with their existence. I must have only done like one coat or something on this orc based on some of the paleness I'm seeing now that I'm looking at him again. Not necessarily a bad thing, I just think it was an interesting choice that past me made that I disagree with. Like, look how pale this, like, finger is. Unacceptable. Alright, I think that's looking better. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of work on his face again, or the top of his head really, because his face is good. But, like, I'm noticing the top of his head. Like, look at the difference between his arms now and the top of his head. It's just so much paler. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that out. So, Matt MRC Warhammer 40k Predator tank. That should get you to the video. Perfect. That sounds cool. There we go. That feels better. The one last place that I want to touch up a little bit, and I'm not going to be super picky about this. You know, actually, no. I think his chest is fine. Of everything that was painted, that looks like the thing that I may have painted twice. Everything else looked like I only put one coat of paint on it. So I'm happy with that. He's looking fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, no, he looks fantastic. Okay. You, my friend. We've painted all that. Am I actually ready to do a touch-up stage? I think yes. I think we are ready. The one thing I'm going to do before that is I'm pretty sure this is Dark Oath flesh on that wrist brace that he's got, and I just want to take care of that real quick before I continue to bypass it and forget it. Where is Dark Oath flesh? There you are. Let's hope that I'm not wrong and that I can identify my contrast paints well. Thank you, Aaron. I think he's very wah as well. Oh shit, I just realized I don't think I put... Are we good? Has the music been good for you guys? I just realized I don't know if I adjusted it. And I don't know if it's good for you. No one said anything that I've seen. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody talk about the music being too loud. So I think we're good. Please confirm. I'm having, like, self-doubt about it now. And then and while we do that, I will paint this. Yay! I did identify it correctly. Can I blend it to make it look like it's not two passes? Possibly. Was good and is good. Okay, good, good, good. Thank you. I just was like... I realized that I was like, oh, I think I actually am at a good level. But then I moved it up and then I removed it back down. So, like, very briefly. And I just wanted to make sure that I had put it back into an acceptable range where I wasn't getting drowned out. Because I know that happened a smidge yesterday when I first got started, so. Okay, I need to take him off here so that I can actually get to... You may not be able to see what I'm doing, but I promise I'm painting the backside of the bracelet. His spiky bracelet, because he shopped at Hot Topic. Alright, I think we've salvaged that. Fixed it, we're good. Bam. Now let's break out the Wraithbone, which thankfully I already have here. Alright, I think we're probably just going to... My plan is to probably end the stream around 6. So we got about a half an hour or so left. That'll mean I've been streaming for about like 2.5 hours or so. We might go to 6:30, depending on like how deep we get into things. But my expectation is we're probably not going to finish too much more outside of getting this Wraithbone cleanup. Just because I know how slow I am and how chatty I am and how distracted I can get. But we will see how things go. I'm not super, like, concerned. Who was I just painting? Well, you know what? We haven't worked on him in a bit, so he's probably very dry. Let's go ahead and do some cleanup. And I try to tell myself, like, you don't have to be super anal about the cleanup as long as you get... Because the contrast paint's pretty forgiving. It can layer and cover up other colors if they have some primer back over top of them, even if there's like a faint residual. Because I sometimes go like insane when it comes to like cleanup. But then again, I get really good results a lot of times, so it is sometimes worth it. That's true. We did have a couple of, like, extreme rant topics today. You know what? It's fine, though, because the point is this was an impromptu stream anyways. Normally, I don't stream on Wednesdays. And I just was like, you know what? Actually, it was Chaos Cultist actually. He was like, hey, do you want to stream today? Like, do some fun stuff? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Did I actually paint these in Wraithbone, or did I paint these in white? I actually can't tell. The other reason, though, I will actually probably want to stop soon is, even though I've got, like, a bunch of lights on here, it is getting dark outside, and as soon as it starts to get kind of dark outside, I just stop being able to focus and, like, see, because I get too deep of shadows, and then I make mistakes. So that's really the main, like, where my concern is kind of coming. I need to look into, I've been meaning to, but I want to get at least one more lamp for my workspace that I can, like, put in that corner. Because I have with how my desk is set up currently, I have a bunch of those Hobby Zone modular storage units that can, like, hold paint and then, like, have the drawers and everything. So I have a bunch of varieties of those. And that's along one of the walls. And then on the other side, I have a separate, like, wooden structure that also holds paint from a different company that I think I just got off of Amazon, honestly. And both work very well, but because they don't actually join up together, there is a gap in the corner. And my thought is to put a second, like, lamp over there to give me a little bit more light for when this window no longer has sunlight coming through it, because I do rely a lot on the sunlight coming out of this window a lot of times when I'm painting. And when it goes away, it makes this, like, it basically, I get just a lot of extreme shadows because of one side's not lit anymore very well and the rest of the place is. And it just makes it difficult to see. Which then also makes me fail my namesake, I feel like. With the name Hobby Night, I feel like I should be able to hobby at night more, but I don't. Because I don't always have the current best lighting situation. That's looking decent. We do need to do a bunch of cleanup, though, down here. He's got, like, I got a lot of blue on his loincloth. He also looks like he might have, like, a second loincloth? What? Weird. Like, it's layered or something. I don't quite understand. Maybe it's metal? Like, I see that his sword comes down and overlaps it. Maybe it's to guard against his sword accidentally cutting his, like, his orc junk off or something. Not that I actually think that orcs have junk canonically in Warhammer 40k, because they're fungus, but... Oh my gosh, that's clearly what I need to do. You're absolutely right. John, good night, sir. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I hope that work tomorrow goes well for you. Thanks for hanging out at the stream. Oh, damn. Did I let it dry? Well, shoot. Okay, well, I'll have to go back in there. I accidentally got a little bit of Wraithbone on his pants. Like a fool. And now I'll need to do cleanup there, or retouch up. He's got like this orc medallion on his chest around his neck. I want to clean that up. I got some green on it. When I was painting him, not too bad. Go. Yes. Yes. All right. Back to the loincloth. It should be a little bit more dry now. Woohoo! Hell yeah! 2 October shows. Woo woo! We do love some impromptu painting. I am excited. I actually ordered, unfortunately I had to get it off of Amazon because I haven't been able to find it locally. Like, I've been trying and failing to find Army Painter Uniform Gray Spray Can Primer for like a month. I have checked Games of Berkeley. They haven't had it for a long time. I called my local game castle earlier and asked them, and they were like, yeah, the only game castles that we see it available in are out of state. And I'm like, well, I'm not fucking driving out of state for it. That's ridiculous. So I just went ahead and ordered it online because I haven't been able to find any, and I bloody needed it because I want, like, I've been enjoying getting back to my orcs. I really actually have, a little bit more than I anticipated, but I also really want to actually work on some of my Battletech miniatures, but I need the Uniform Gray because I like to do a grisaille on those ones, and so, because I just find it makes it a little bit easier to paint them all and get them done, like, effectively, and so, or efficiently, rather. And so I've been wanting this gray primer, and I'm used to it, so I was really particular. I just wanted to get it, haven't been able to find it, was really frustrated, so I just ordered it. Finally, we'll be able to do it. Should be coming in, I think, on Monday. I have a couple of miniatures for Battletech that I've got pre-prepped, which I might be painting this Thursday, or we might just be doing more orcs. I haven't really fully decided yet. Not Thursday. Sorry, this Friday. But I do want to paint some of the Battletech minis soon, because I want to... I talked about this a little bit yesterday on stream. When it comes to the Battletech game, I'm learning the classic version of the game right now, and one of the things that I think is slightly holding me back from really maintaining some of the, like, nuances of the game in my head is that I've been using other people's miniatures for demos recently, and that's been fine and very helpful, but I think it'd be more helpful for me to use my own miniatures so that I can, like, have them at home and, like, reinforce the information I learned while playing the game with the miniatures that I keep, you know? So I just think it'd be a little bit of a helpful learning tool to use my own stuff, as much as I've been enjoying and very appreciative of both the people at my game store that I've been borrowing the miniatures from, because they've been teaching me the game, really been great, super, like, friendly, very inviting community. But I do think it would be just like mentally help me have the information stick. So that's what I've really been wanting to get some of them painted. Well, no, because I need to do the next thing that I want to paint, Peter, is specifically the loincloth and like jackets of both the orcs, and both of them I got spillage on. So I am going to, because I like to, when it comes to painting, I like to work from the most recessed areas out to make it easier. And the jacket and medallion are basically where we're at on both of these, of like most recessed or most next recessed. So I want to get them done. Because, like, I could, in theory, like, finish the gun, for example, and before I do this cleanup step. But the problem is if I go and paint the jacket, if I accidentally get stuff on the gun, then I'm going to have to repaint the gun. So I like to work from tightest area, like, most hard-to-reach area on the miniature first, and work my way out to the more easily accessible miniature areas. And the reason we did the skin first, like, the one reason we're doing that first is just because, one, we have some skin that is the most recessed with the belly stuff, and I just want to try getting them all, like, it needs to be even looking, so I want to do it all at the same time, and I find that I can at least avoid that easily enough. But, like, some of these areas, it's just, I find it easier to work that way, is most recessed out. I think we're looking pretty good, actually. There's a little bit more on the medallion, and since I definitely am going to be doing that in like a yellow to represent gold, I want to make sure it's definitely got no green on it, but I'm feeling fairly confident with where we're at. There's like a tiny bit on this front loincloth that still has a little bit of blue kind of visible to me. And since this is going to be in a tan, I actually do, again, want to get it kind of cleaned up as best as possible, because it's going to be having another light color tone over it. There we go. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm happy with him. We'll do like one final inspection of those sections before we stop using this paint, but I'm feeling fairly confident. Yeah, no problem. It's my absolute pleasure to explain my process. Like, I personally wish... I've actually not watched that many other miniature painters stream, mostly because a lot of them do it on Twitch, and honestly, I just don't use Twitch very often. Like, I'm almost never on it. The only time I really ever use it is when I'm watching the watch-alongs with you guys for GW. But otherwise, I don't watch stuff on Twitch very often. And a lot of streamers do stuff on Twitch. I should check it out just to get an idea of what they do, but I don't know what they talk about during their live streams. One of the things that I find helpful, and because I don't do as many painting tutorials on the channel right now as I used to, is I like to basically turn these into a little bit of a tutorialization, because I find, for me, the visualization of watching somebody actually move their paintbrush across a miniature and, you know, hearing them talk about their paint process and how they pick their colors and etc. is very helpful. So if you guys ever have questions about something that I'm doing, or color choices that I've made or anything like that, by all means, please feel free to ask. Obviously, be polite about it. Don't be like a dick and be like, why the fuck are you doing that? Or something like that. Because that would be rude. Not that you did that at all, by the way, Peter. But like, just to clarify for people to not be jerks. But But otherwise, I have zero problems answering those kinds of questions. I find them myself to be useful to hear the answers to, because I always like getting various artists' perspective on how they like to handle things. I think it's very interesting and useful for that, and I have zero problems talking about my process and explaining things. Because honestly, sometimes my processes end up changing because of something that you guys end up discussing with me as part of this process. And so I'm happy to talk about things. Also, Diggs, welcome back. We were just talking about how I absolutely do not mind explaining my process or why I'm doing certain things. All right, the main thing we want to focus on him is, again, the jacket, because that's what we're going to paint next. It is difficult to talk about it. Thankfully, and I do actually fully give credit to my college for this a little bit. Specifically some of my professors that I had when I was taking my sequential classes. But we were forced to critique each other's artwork as part of the grading process for a lot of our classes. And I think by doing that, I was naturally predisposed to being able to discuss my process, because I had to defend my process to my classmates sometimes during our critique sessions. And so, or just, you know, I got offended by their criticism and therefore defended myself is really what happened. And so I've talked about it in the past, and so therefore when I went into YouTube, even though I do sometimes struggle and a lot because I'm an ummer, I have found that over time it's gotten easier to talk about the process. Really what it ultimately comes down to, why are you so shiny now? Are you dry? You are dry. Why did you become so shiny? For some reason, he got shiny a little bit when I put that second coat on him, and I don't know why. I don't know if, like, I got some sort of glossy material into my plague bear flesh, like, paint or something, but, like, he's slightly shiny and it's throwing me off. What was I talking about? I was talking about my process. So yeah, I think that's just, I was lucky, and because I went to art school, I had to critique and talk about processes anyways, and I kind of just developed a knack for it. They were not all in one piece. I do not often do sub-assembly painting. I have in the past on some things, but I tend to do that predominantly on bigger models. Mostly because even though there are some, like, recessed areas, I don't find it that difficult to actually get to them. Like, it slows me down, like, maybe a smidge. But personally, I've also, when I do, like, the sub-assembly painting style, that is so slow to me. I like, crawl to a snail's pace because I'm thinking about too many things at once, and I get honestly overwhelmed, and then I can't focus, and then it just takes me forever. And so it's the process of putting things together sometimes, especially if I'm doing like a batch of models. So for troops, I tend to do full assembly, and with maybe some rare exception of not putting the arms on if they're actually already pre-holding the guns or weapons, and they will fit together really easily. But most of the time I just fully assemble the small models like troops and stuff like that, and then I'll paint them just as is. For some of the larger models, I will do them in pieces. But not normally quite in the full sub-assembly portion. I would like build them in like larger chunks and then assemble those together. You know what? We might end up just doing more orcs on Friday. I've been enjoying painting these. I do really want to get some of my Battletech miniatures painted. Oh, well, no, I can't. Because I only really have like one. I have one prepped. And no one else is prepped. And I don't think one is going to get me through like a 2-hour live stream session like I would want. So I do think we're going to probably end up doing more orcs, actually. And then we'll do Battletech first thing in November once I've gotten in my primer so that I can actually get them painted the way that I want to paint them. Because, like, I have other primers I could use. Like, I could prime them up in Gray Seer. I could still even do a Grisaille with that. It would just... I'd need to put a much heavier wash on it. Like, instead of doing actually Nuln Oil, what I could do is, like, Black Templar and do a black contrast paint, basically, to get the shadow depth and also to actually darken the gray a bit more to give me a stronger midtone. But I think I'm just going to wait till I get the actual paint in that I ordered and do it then. So I think we'll probably stick with orcs on Friday.
Cool.
I am almost finished.
I was just seeing how it was going.
I'm actually going to end in just a few minutes. I've got look at my minty boy.
Oh yes,
He's a very...
I want to say spirited for some reason.
I kind of get that.
He's not in frame.
Oh no, I was getting him in the light for you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not in frame. But yeah, no, he's a very minty boy. I haven't decided what I'm doing for his jacket. I'm leaning towards maybe doing Dreadful Visage with like a really like soft purple.
Yeah, like the lucky purple. That could be good.
Sneaky. Isn't purple sneaky? I thought blue was luck.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got those mixed up.
No, that's fine. We had a lengthy discussion about the color symbolism for orcs.
Color theory.
Yeah, well, because I was wondering, and I would love your input on this actually while I continue doing this little bit of cleanup. Do you think when it comes to orcs, like, is it all blues that are lucky, or do you think it like depends? Like is a teal, for example, like would this orc's jacket still be considered lucky?
So my best guess is as long as the blue was derived from some sense memory of an orc, then it might be fine. Because, you know, most orc dyes are made using some terrible, like, process in lore. Like, all their yellows are made of piss.
Yeah, I knew that. I actually didn't realize all of them were like that.
I think pretty much if you go into the grimdark sections of the lore,
okay,
either that or it's stolen, right?
Right, yeah. Well, that's what I always thought it was.
But
like,
I would
actually...
assume because, like, all the technology the orcs know is just built into their memory.
Uh-huh.
So that means, theoretically, there's some art boys who go around and, like, paint up shit. And so they probably have genetic memory of, like, the, you know, whatever method of blue they're aiming for. So I would bet they're actually a little particular about it.
Okay, I could totally
I could imagine that, like, you know, a Hume could luck out, make the same blue, and then, you know, an orc decides to take it.
Right, of course. Oh, that's really cool. I love the idea of there being, like, actual art boys, like, in the same way that they have, like, mech boys and weird boys and...
Pretty sure they do.
Do they? That's so cool. That's, like, orcs are the best.
They gotta have, I mean, there may be more Gretchens or Grots, but, like, they got cooks. I mean, there's...
That's true. They do have, like, orc cooks and stuff.
There's an orc whose entire job it is to, like, make, hats. So,
really? For all the other orcs?
Yeah,
they have a hatter?
Yeah, well, he makes them out of squigs.
Oh my god. I now need this hatter to be, like... I need it to be dressed as... I know orcs don't really have genders. I need it to look like Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle, because that's what she does. Like, she's a hatter, and her witch power is that, like, she puts her witch magic into the hats and, like, basically, like, blesses or, like, curses the hats based on, like, if she likes the person or not.
Yeah.
At least in the book. I don't think they really kind of go into that as much in the movie.
You know, every job that is performed on an orc base is performed via sense memory.
Oh,
So,
okay.
like, their cooks are just orc boys who took an attachment to the kitchen.
Okay, I had not actually like realized that fully.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why orc culture is considered to be free and have like succeeded at the great struggle, is because every orc just does the job that they feel like they're meant to do.
Okay, is that also like is that partially why they are not corruptible by chaos?
Yep.
Oh.
I mean, there are.
I know there are orcs that
But
have like
most of the
gone to
time-
Khorne and stuff like that.
More
But
so, it's, you know, if you want to get into the hard part, okay, the nerd lore is the anti-psychic field that they produce with their wall.
Okay.
In essence, protects them from chaos corruption.
Okay.
Theoretically, if you took individual orcs, it would probably be easier to corrupt them. But the
Well, that's
larger
what I
effects,
always
the more
feel
they
like.
exist.
That makes sense because I was like, I feel like the few times that I've actually heard about it canonically, they've been like solo or like a squad of like 5.
Yeah,
like there's
or,
always
a
like
single,
such a
like, squad of,
or like or even just a single like
mercenary group.
character sometimes of like, yeah, this one dude fell to Khorne because
yeah,
like
the overall orc wall protects them.
okay, that's really cool. Man, orcs they have some fun lore. All right, I think we're looking pretty good on this cleanup. I'm feeling happy with it on his jacket. I think when we come back next time, we can go ahead and start painting those. But we are at almost 6. We've been going for about 2.5 hours now, and I am officially hungry again. I had a little bit of a snack earlier during the stream, but I literally just got a bag of gummies, and then that was it. So I am going to go, I think, now and get some actual dinner. Also, I'm losing my light. It's not like fully gone. I know it looks kind of bright out there, but it's actually not. It's getting overcast again a little bit actually, and the sun is setting. So I do think we are going to call it today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's impromptu stream. As I mentioned, we will be back on Friday, probably at the normal time, 11, barring something coming up. That has been a little bit this week of things just coming up, but I think we should be fine by Friday. So expect a normally scheduled 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time stream. I will be working on probably some more orcs. Like I said, I've kind of been waffling back and forth between Battletech, orcs. I might just bring the Battletech Mini to the table and maybe like as a palette cleanser, partially between it or something, especially if we do a little bit of a longer stream again. I'll paint the Battletech miniature because I really don't think the one that I have prepped is going to take me that long to paint, especially with how I painted the previous ones. But I do still like want to keep working on these boys because I think they're coming along quite well. We got some good work done. I mean, we spent a lot of time also like touching these guys up and doing some work on them. They look so funny on the screen because of the green screen stuff. But I'm very happy with them. God, I really do actually love how all of their flesh is coming together. Oh my gosh, Peter, yes, go to bed. Dude, go to bed. Oh, Skater Cats, hello, welcome. I did not see you pop in. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm sorry that you're catching it at like, I don't know how long you've been here, but we're about to end. I'm sorry. But it's lovely to see you here. Thank you. You guys have been awesome. It's always just blast hanging out with everybody and getting some painting done. It's been very relaxing to me to do this, so I think this was a good call. Thank you to Chaos Cultist for suggesting me streaming today, because originally I wasn't going to, but he was like, hey, do you want to stream? And I was like, you know what? That does sound like a good idea. So I did, and I'm very happy that I did. I am now going to go clean my brushes, because that's important. Don't forget to clean your brushes. And yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Thank you guys, and I will see you on Friday. Bye, everybody.